time to get started for our study session. Summer, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Patterson.
Here.
Commissioner Norwood.
Here.
Commissioner Baker.
Here.
Commissioner Roberts. Here. Commissioner Stallings.
Here.
Commissioner Dennis.
Here.
And Mayor Mason.
Here.
All present.
Pen out of my pocket. Item number 2, at the Commissioner's request, discuss any item of concern on the regular session agenda tonight. Anybody have anything they want to bring up?
Nope.
Discuss or cuss or? No? Okay. Item 3.1, update. Oh, I like this one. Update on the haunted house. Corey? Ooh. Wow.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. We've brought some special guests with us tonight. As you know, we've got a special little event coming up, our haunted gym. Nice music. We've already had one. We had one last Saturday. We had a really good turnout. Lots of good feedback. But I'm going to introduce you to Rebecca Green. She is our kind of lead rock star on this whole thing. Her and Karen both have done a great job at this. So let her tell you a little bit about it.
Thank you. Our next night we're doing this is October 25th. It is from 6 to 8 p.m. As you can see, we have a couple pictures from the haunted house, the witch's room, the zombie room, our autopsy room, our daycare,
I love that.
and the Freddy room.
Ooh.
Oh, and our medieval room. Okay.
That's really it. It's free to anybody.
Yes, free for anyone to attend. We have all ages come, and it's a good, fun night.
How many people you think come through that? I mean, have you ever tracked that to see?
We have, and we're gonna actually do a counter this Saturday. But we've come close. Some people come through multiple times.
Right.
But I think last year there was like 700 in one night.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
800.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. It's a
yes.
big turn.
Very good.
Very big turnout.
And for the people watching, what's the address again?
I don't know the exact address. It's 10th and Chestnut, where the splash pad
10th and
is.
Chestnut.
Nightmare on Chestnut.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dr. Walter,
Blocks.
we need you to come back at budget time.
That's what we do. So, as a theater person, I love the way the way you set all the different sets. How much time does this take? Because it really looks good. I mean,
We
folks are going to
close
enjoy
down the gym usually the first week of September, and we're not done until the first week of October.
it. I believe it. It looks that you put a lot of time and effort into it. That's just brilliant. Very cool.
Thank you.
Got it. Well, I tell you what, I like the costumes. I really do. The doctor met me in the hallway whenever I came in and startled me. I wasn't expecting that whenever I come in to eat chili tonight. So,
Is that a brain or a prostate you got in your hand?
It's a really small brain.
any other comments, guys, ladies?
No, you can't top prostate humor, so we're...
I know.
You finished it up.
Well, we sure appreciate what you do, and more importantly, I think it gives another thing for our kids and families to do here in Enid that doesn't cost them a dime. And I know it cuts into your family time, so thank you very much for doing that and for coming down here tonight and for whoever put all the decorations up here tonight. It does mean a lot to us, and I love the video, or the slides also. Those are good. So
Thank you.
thank you all very much.
Thank you.
We do appreciate it.
See you Saturday.
I think I dated a girl in high school that looked like the Scarecrow. Okay, too far, I know.
Nobody's laughing at that.
I know, I better stop.
We think you might be right.
True. Well, yeah. Item 3.2, quarterly VDA update from Mike Cooper.
Seems to be tough to follow that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like your costume, too.
Settle down, settle down. Well, good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. Good to see everybody. Had VDA, Advanced Development Authority meeting today. I'll kind of go over some of the things that we were doing there. Of course, as you might imagine, a lot of things, because the government shut down, a lot of things we got going on are kind of at a standstill. I'll put this up here. I want you to kind of look, for those of you who haven't seen the latest rendering of the elementary school, Eisenhower Elementary. So kind of got an update on that. They're pretty close. They will be done sometime probably into middle of November, 1st December. But to go to the next phase, it always has to go. They'll give the engineering design department fence a look at it, and they'll approve it, and then it goes to another process. So there's several steps that have to be done. However, the Office of Local Defense Community Cooperation is closed, so you can't talk to them at all. So, then you see what's going on over in the Pentagon as well. So that's kind of all on hold, but his work is going on, so that's moving around very smoothly. But that's going to be a wonderful facility out there, about 350 students. So and as you know, we've got it pretty much almost funded for his 20% match. He thinks, because it's kind of interesting, he thinks the construction costs are down, so it might be a little less. Well, we'll see and hope for the best on that. One of the other things we talked about is the Association Defense Community, and I was president of that organization for 3 years. During that time, we created the Great American Defense Communities, where we recognize every year 2 or 3 communities across the nation that are great supporters of the military bases in their communities. So we've got several little kind of work like we do on the Altus Trophy Award, and we'll put some things together. It's a great time to do it because this is the 50th anniversary of the Association Defense Communities, created after the closure of military installations in the early 70s. And the reason we now have BRAC is because of that type of thing, and the reason that we have that type of legislation is because this organization worked real hard, because when you get a 2-week notice that you're going to close a major installation, regardless of which service, and we had one in the state of Oklahoma. In fact, the first meeting of the Association Defense Community was in Clinton, Oklahoma, after the closure of SAC bomber base Clinton Sherman out in western Oklahoma. So first meeting was city managers and developers from New Mexico, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and Arkansas, because what just happened to us. And at that time, your delegation, the senators and congressmen, got a 2-week notice that they were going to close that base. So, and some of those areas haven't recovered since then, if you've ever been out to that area. So I think it's a good time for us to do that. We'll see, and then early April, May is when that event is going to be in DC. So that'll be quite an event. Today we also talked about 2 issues that we had discussions with out at the base with our wing commander, and talked about housing needs, affordable, available, quality housing for the military, not just where we're at right now, but any increase in mission, you can see what's going to happen. And we certainly have a need for more affordable, available, quality housing, single family, homes, and could be some possible duplexes. But we wanted to make it very clear, and we'll have more discussions on this, because there are even a lot of things being done at the state level, and Marcy's probably aware of this, that the state is looking to figure out how to assist people to get more homes built when, economic development purposes. So you'll see some things, I think, come from the state to assist with that. But we wanted to talk about it because we'll keep working on it, but wanted people to know, if you're interested in building homes, it's probably a pretty good time, so at least for their needs. So we talked a little bit about that, and the commander spoke to that a little bit. Also, and always the thing that we've always tried to pay attention to is the medical needs for the military, whether it's use of the different, whether it's TRICARE or whatever it's called, something else now, and then make sure they have the necessary medical doctor specialties that they need. And so we talked a little bit about that, and we'll continue to do that. And that's kind of why Advanced Development Authority is created like it is, because, we either have Integris or St. Mary's CEO on the board. So, when those issues come up, we can talk about them and try to impact them. So we'll continue to do that. There'll be more to come on that. Also, the squad ops facility, and we talked about that this morning. They were supposed to have some meetings with the Corps to kind of discuss how and what the needs are for that facility, and that is as they look to spend the money on the engineering design that Senator Mullen helped us get as a congressional ad. It's about $8.7 million. Well, those meetings were probably supposed to happen like this week, sometime in October, and of course they can't meet, so that's delayed a little bit. But so we'll continue to follow that so we can get it at certain percent design, because any discussion that I have with our delegation and or the wing commander, that's kind of the first thing we talk about is, well, where are we at on that? Are we at a percent where we can have it in the 5-year plan, the FIDEP? You've heard us talk about that before it can even be considered for a congressional effort to try to get it, or they've got a timing on when they would like to have that done prior to getting the new planes here, the T-7. So, but, most, as we all know, since the early 80s, all of our MILCON out at the base, and Rob knows this, have all been congressional ads. So we'd love to have, the Air Force just put it in the regular president's budget, and we'd go on, we'd think that was great. But it's very difficult when you're a small base like that to hit the top priorities, even though it is the top 2 or 3 unfunded requirement for AETC. So it's a needed project, so that's moving, but it's a little delayed at the moment. So we'll see, hope that the government opens. I also, the mayor and I are going to what they call the Association Defense Community. Annually, they have what they call an installation innovation forum. This year it's out at the Monterey at the Presidio, but the reason that it's there is because that's where intergovernmental support agreements started, where the Army at the time first started a few things, whether it was sewer and trash or wastewater or whatever. Well, today that's ramped forward. We've improved that greatly, and the Defense Communities organization, one that worked with Congress, particularly Senator Inhofe, to improve that to today. Monterey does everything. It manages it like it's part of the city, so it's above Monterey up on top of the hill, and they do sewer, water, police, fire, trash, roads, everything. So it's good to have other communities across the nation see how, because everybody does it differently, and there are certain things how different communities can help. So that's why it's there, and we'll be at that in the next couple of weeks. And that brings together all the services, leaderships that we would work with, the states and communities, same way with the Department of Defense leaders that are there that we would have to work with. So it's a really good event. And because the government shut down, we also and appreciate the city attorney's effort on getting that land proffer together, because the notebook's about this thick of all kinds of things we have to in there to officially give it to the Air Force. And we've tried twice at least to have that date. Of course, now because the government shut down, but we have that in our pocket, so we're ready to do that. And I know General Quinn will do everything he can to be here, and those of you that were here when he was here are former vice wing. So hopefully he goes through all the confirmation process and becomes the ATC commander, which we kind of expect that. So when that happens, then the government opens, and we'll come here and have a great event. So with that, unless you've got anything, that's kind of any questions, kind of what's going on.
I was wondering, on Eisenhower, how many students do they currently have?
It's 100 and something, but don't quote
It was
me on that.
168 is what Dr. Darrow said today. And I don't want to get in front of you, but this school will accommodate 350.
Yep.
And once that school's built, they're going to do some rezoning in different school districts so that they can take advantage of this, because they're crowded at other ones. So, that'll be a couple years from now, but keep in mind, that is Enid Public Schools. Even though it's out on base, it was outside the gate right up until after 9/11. Some of the security things come along and they moved the gate forward. But, yeah. So 168 is what I heard him say.
Yes, and they did the folks that do strategic basing analysis and all that, Carol Ann Beta is the one that we worked with in the Pentagon, because you had to right size it, and they were only going to approve what they thought was necessary. And of course, Carol Ann's letter to us, essentially, that's why the size is what it is, because that is said that's the size that would accommodate, their expansions that they would have, in the future, so, for the military. So that's why it's built to that size. So that's a good thing, but it's also going to be a great facility. I mean, I think, with, as I understand it, a new gymnasium, the one that you've ever been out there, it's really old. And then the, safe room, all of that, because it'll be really built well, and so that's a good plus for Enid, so, and Vance as well. So excited about that.
Hey, Coop, I think it's important, we went from 168 to a school that the military wanted 350. That in itself right there should tell you something. The numbers that the colonel was telling today, they normally have, and you can help me with this, 500 students on base. They're currently at in around 750? 785 and growing. And every dorm, all the housing, the private housing out there is 98% full. They only keep 2% open because they've got people in and out. So we have a need for housing. I can't say that enough to the people that are watching.
Right.
And we would love for our local builders to jump in there and help with this. But if you can't, we've got to move on and find somebody that can. It's my understanding, and Colonel, you can correct me, that once T7 gets here, we should expect 30% larger than what we are now on personnel, thereabouts.
I don't have the exact. I don't have the exact numbers when the T7 arrives, what that looks like, but I can tell you, with what we're doing to transform UPT today to IPT and FUPT, it will increase the throughput at Vance Air Force Base. So we're increasing. Right now, this year, we've got 240 folks coming in. We only expect to release 120. So this year alone, we're going to continue to increase. We don't expect that to slow down anytime soon.
And with the new, the bomber fundamental, does that add things, or is that?
That would as well. So Vance at one point had something called Introduction to Fighter Fundamentals. That went away. It's currently at Columbus, Mississippi, and in San Antonio Randolph Air Force Base. Beginning end of next year, we'll begin Fighter Bomber Fundamentals, which will combine T-38 graduate pilot training with what used to be IFF. They'll combine the two. So we'll keep some of our graduate T-38 students at Vance a little bit longer than what they are today as well. So that will also extend the time that they're at Vance.
And I know it's not specific, but with that T7 influx of new pilots, what's the time frame for that to happen?
So Vance is kind of one of the later ones to get that. So we're looking early 2030s is when the T7 should arrive to Vance.
And it's still in early production and trials and all of that testing. And so once that really gets into production, then that'll move a little bit quicker, I think, because they want to get to that new plane. But I'd echo what the mayor said. We occasionally have dealt with housing requirements going all the way back to 95. So we've occasionally had that. But you know how we are. I mean, sometimes it takes us a little longer to do things. But yeah, we'd rather have it done locally, by people. But we're pretty creative and good to get things done if that doesn't happen, because if we don't get more available, quality of available homes, then we've got to act. We'll have to do something, so we'll all get creative on that. So.
And Colonel, one more thing. Talk about the number you threw out there today, and I can't recall it exactly, but how many homes were on the market, but of all those, how many actually fit the profile for your students?
So during the summertime, that is our biggest surge, right? So all the accessions, when the academy graduates and all the universities graduate, that's typically when we see the surge. So this summer, in the housing market of about 25,000, there were about 44 that met the criteria that were suitable for those that were arriving to Vance Air Force Base. Of those 44, We had some like trailers and things that actually wouldn't necessarily be suitable and folks would not be interested in. So we had a number of students that were kind of biding their time either in a hotel, going to Airbnbs until something opened up down the road. Yeah, we assess the same, that there's, like you mentioned, all the government housing is 100% capacity, and our privatized housing on base is about 98% for the reason you laid out.
Yep.
So for me, the takeaway is we're already short on housing. And a year from now, it'll be worse. 2 years from now, it'll be even worse. And that's assuming that Dr. Mack doesn't bring in another business that brings in another 50, 60, 70 people that are looking for homes. So we have a housing crisis that we're going to have to get in front of, or we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and that's why they had the interim study this couple of 2 or 3 weeks ago, was to deal with that, because that's an issue across the state. Forget the Defense Department issues in these communities, but it's a big issue for economic development. So they're trying to figure out, well, how can we get that done? So we'll continue to stay in the middle of that. But if you remember, Frank and Rob, after '95, we had this housing issue then, but the best we did, the housing authority thing we created, was we had 10 to 15 homes that we got people that were affordable, available, quality homes, the type that they needed. So it was about 10 or 15 in a pile, of homes that we had available. People took them off the market, made them available just to military. So, but we subsidized any months they were without, generally military, while it's permanent, there's usually a lag there when someone moves in or out. So we would subsidize the months that they didn't have someone in it till they got them in it. We did that for a while because we had a critical issue. Well, we're way above that critical issue now. So it's a good problem to have if you deal with it.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments?
Just on Eisenhower, what is the time frame for starting construction and completion pending funding?
Of what?
Of Eisenhower.
Of Eisenhower? He's talked about, say 12 to 18 months. Of course, then like any, construction project, depends on weather and all those kind of issues, but they think, about that time frame once they get approved. And once they're through with engineering course, if any of you know Dudley very well, he's made sure, oh my gosh, we need to get that engineering done. And of course, he wants the government open today, so that doesn't hold him up. So they're doing everything they can to make sure it's sitting there ready to go. We're just waiting on them to decide they approve it and then give the money start. So he'll start it as quickly as he can.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else, Commissioner?
Otherwise, good to see everyone.
Yeah.
I'm here. Thanks for coming over today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Safe travels. Okay. Item 3.3, introduction of Kimberly Conyer from Goodwill. And is that you?
Hello. I just want to say I was at the Oklahoma City council meeting today, and they weren't near as festive. So I went to, and wanted to make sure.
Kimberly, do you want me to help you pass those out?
I'm going to hand these to you.
Okay.
See, Coop.
Everyone. In these packets, you will find some reference materials and our annual report. Those aren't out yet. I got those for you. We got them in today. Sorry, you guys don't have them. I only stole 10, sorry. We got it.
Thank you.
Well, I just want to say, number one, thank you so much to Councilwoman Patterson. And it was such a delight to meet Councilwoman Dennis as well. Thank you guys for having me here. It is a joy to be here and to speak with you guys. Why am I here today? I'm here to share with you and everyone who, I love you guys more because you guys don't have to be here. So I appreciate you guys showing up and being here in your council meetings. But I do want to say thank you for letting me be here. I'm here today to share with you what Goodwill does and how. And my name's Kimberly Conyer, and that is my job. It's the greatest job at Goodwill. And I want to say thank you for your time and attention, and thank you for having me. So what What is Goodwill and how do we do it? Something most people don't realize, by a show of hands, how many people think Goodwill is a nonprofit? If you know we're a nonprofit, raise your hand. You guys are ahead of the curve. Most people don't know we're a nonprofit. So I always like starting with that, because what does a nonprofit do? Nonprofit businesses are businesses. We have to pay our electric bills just like everybody else. We have to pay our insurance, and even though Goodwill particularly doesn't pay some taxes, including property, we still pay unemployment taxes and all that other fun stuff. So we are a business, and we do our business well. We are, and this is where I'm jealous of you, Councilwoman, we are rated the #2 best nonprofit in the country, right behind the YWCA. So we're going to get you next year. So we run our business, we run it well. We are, as most of you probably know, we are 990. Our tax return is available on public, so you can look on there and you can see how we run our business, how well we do it. You can also see our top 10 earners, which includes our CEO, who does not make $1 million. I've seen his truck. He does not make $1 million a year. So please, look on those, check us out, and you guys all have my cards. Anyone can always call a Goodwill. And if you have questions about us, we invite those conversations. Call me, let me know, let's come in and have coffee and meet, because we are community. It's what we do. We run our businesses in the communities we serve as a nonprofit and that we support. And how do we support them? Our mission is to help all Oklahomans remove barriers to employment. So we serve them with, there's a lot of info in there, but the main thing is by removing barriers to employment, and we do that with Oklahoma Board of Private Vocational School accredited training. A lot of us work hand in hand, like COIB I know is great, Work Ready's out here. We work hand in hand. Non-partners work together hand in hand, because when it comes to nonprofits, either we're all thriving or we're all suffering. So we work hand in hand, especially in the city. We work with the Y every week. We work with Pivot and the Oklahoma Bureau of Kiddos and Justice, and we are in prisons like Mabel Bassett and Union City. So we all work together. But in Enid specifically, we have 2,000 square feet allotted in our Enid store just for an employment services center. Please come by, let us show you. And in that Employment Services Center, we are going to have someone there. Their whole purpose is to help anyone that comes in for free get resumes, interview training, skill training, job searches. We are going to have someone from the community who knows the community, who knows every employer, who when my daughter walks in and says, hey, I need a job, she can go, okay, what are you interested in? Great, you want to be a manager, a restaurant manager. Where did we eat that was so wonderful, the barbecue? Which? Swadley's. She can call up Miss Arianda at Swadley's and say, hey, my daughter wants to start in the food business, she wants to be a manager, she thinks she's going to own one. Hey, we have a hostess position open. That's the kind of relationship we want to have here, where we can pick up the phone, put somebody who's going to be somewhere where they can use their attributes, their assets, where they're going to thrive. If they get financial security out of it, yay, but we want them to be happy and thrive there. That's what's going to make them stay, which helps the employer, and that's what's going to help them grow and want to thrive in that position. That is why having the community, being in the community, serving it is so important. For example, every single one of our people in our Enid store are from Enid. Every manager, every entry-level person, we even do that outside of Enid. When we had opened up our Weatherford store and our Ada store, we had managers that wanted it, and they could have driven. They lived outside of Oklahoma City, but we're like, no, we're a community, we serving this community, we require that our person live in that community, and they moved. That's how bad they wanted to be a part of us and a part of the town, and that's what we do. Because we're going to be here, we're going to know, we're going to serve, but we're also going to build up. We are thrilled to be in Enid because of the growth. I know you guys see all those reports. Yes, I get the AARP magazine that says Enid's in the top 25 for coming to move here, and I know you've seen it in all the other mayor rankings and everything. So we're thrilled to be here to be a part of that growth, which includes the business growth. But once again, how I said, either we're all thriving or we're not. So when we come here, how many people have to leave Enid to go and buy clothes right now? Probably, the study that we did said about 3/4 to buy clothing or new clothing. We are here to support that because, remember, we're a nonprofit. 86 cents of every dollar we make goes right back into our services. I don't know about your household, but my household doesn't run at 14% pay for me. I'm working on that. So when we bring in all those clothing from around the state, when we bring them into Enid, that doesn't cost any of our other thrift store partners a dime. We're bringing all that in on our dime, but all that does is add to their inventory. So we're bringing in clothing from our 36 other counties. We're selling it through our store, which is taxes for Enid, employment for the people, more hours for them. But when everyone in Enid donates to all the other thrift stores, that gives them free donations. That gives them more to sell. So they're making more money, which is more taxes for infrastructure, which is also more employment opportunities in their business. Either we're all winning or we're all suffering. What I love is we've already partnered with Hope Thrift because their mission and our mission go hand in hand. We're going to train more of their people, skill them up digitally, which is a huge lack. And not just older people with lack of skills, but those teenagers are great at posting their Facebook pages and their Instagram. Most of them don't know how to send an email, much less do a resume, have it look you in the eye, shake your hand. They need interview skills. That's what we will do in our Employment Services Center for free for anyone. We hope to have that up and running in the summer, definitely by Q3. We've also had the joy of partnering with the Hope Thrift Store and Miss Rhonda over at the Enid Outreach. We've already got a connection through the councilwoman. We were able to already donate to them over 300 T-shirts and some food, stable food products. So we feel like we're in the door. We want to say thank you. And I just want to say, my name is Kimberly. If you ever have a question or something we need to do better, that is my job. I want to take that on and be personally available to anyone that wants to have that discussion because we only want to thrive and be of service to the community. And I'd like to open the floor for any questions.
Would you share about where your store is and your employment center and hours, how to get a hold of you?
Yes. So I've heard all I have to say is we're in the mall. And everybody knows what that means. So we are in the mall. We're on the front part facing McDonald's. I love that there's a McDonald's so close. Thank you for that. So we are there. We have a full 23,000 square feet. Our sales floor is the biggest sales floor we have in central Oklahoma because Lawton is its own area and Tulsa is its own area. That's how local we are. We're basically, and you guys have our service map, it's from Ponca City down to Ardmore. And then, like I said, that 2,000 square feet are specifically reserved for our free Employment Services Center. You guys have my card, but anybody can always call Goodwill, Central Oklahoma Corporate Office. And did I miss a question?
Just hours.
We are the store hours. Mm-hmm. The store hours are 9 to 9, except for Sunday. And each store does that individually and it'll take us a month. I will tell you, it may take a month to adjust the Sunday hours because we see what the flow is. Because if it's dead starting at 7, we want our people to go home. And so we'll let them go at 7. So, but come and see us. I got to see a lot of you at the grand opening. It was so much fun. But please just let us know what we can do to be of service. That's why we're here.
Very good.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Thank you, Kimberly.
Yeah.
My joy. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Item 3.4, quarterly Metropolitan Planning Organization, MPO update. Taylor, this is you.
Yes, sir. Good morning, or good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So this is going to be my Q2 update. Here is our map, just to remind you of the area. It is Enid, North Enid, and parts of the county. Last time we went over our Unified Planning Work Program. This time, I kind of want to go over the Transportation Improvement Plan and the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. Public participation just kind of goes throughout everything. So to start off with our TIP, it is a short-term plan. It is a prioritized list of transportation projects. It goes over 4 years, and we update it every 2 years. So we are in the middle of updating it right now. It is a 21-day public participation period. We started October 1st, and today is the last day. So if you guys want to get on the MPO website and look at it, today is the last day for public comment. We will have public hearings on our November meetings, which are November 5th and November 12th. Here is the overall budget for the TIP. If you see 2026 budget is pretty high, that is because it includes the Vance Trail. And then it also is going to include utilities and right-of-way, which are about $2,000 total for O&K to Garland to Van Buren. And then FY29 is pretty high too. That also includes O&K to Van Buren to 30th Street. So that's about $10 million. Our Metropolitan Transportation Plan, it's our long-term plan. It's over 25 years, and it's updated every 5 years. Poe and Associates is who we consulted with to help make our plan, and they are actually here today. So they're going to give their presentation over an update for that. Here are our transportation planning priorities. And we went over these last time, but I'm just kind of giving you a little update on where we're at on each of them. The website is obviously ongoing. The MTP is underway. And then we just went over, we're about to go over functional class and submit those to ODOT. It should be completed by the end of the month. We are about to establish new safety performance management targets on our next meeting in November. And then training is ongoing. So functional class, it categorizes by purpose. It's based on characteristics such as number of lanes and connectivity to centers. We decided that there were a few that we needed to update within the city of Enid. If you kind of look, it's locals are going to be streets that are neighborhood streets, and then it gets higher. So we changed 5 of them from minor arterials to principal arterials. Those are the 5 that we changed. In the areas that we changed them to: Willow, Randolph, Roop, Garland, and Cleveland. And then some financials that we have. Our total grants as of July 1st, 80% are covered in grants, 72% are planning funds, and 5303 funds, which are transit funds by the FTA, are about 8%. Total, we got $300,000, and we spent $11,000 in the previous years. So total, rolling all that over, we're about $288,000. Enid covers the other 20%, and the expenses so far are $54,000. Available funding from Enid is still $18,000, and that comes to the $360,000. That is total with the grants and Enid's match. And then here it kind of splits it up by element. These match up with the UPWP that we went over last time. The program support and administration is our largest bucket of money right now that we've spent. These are claims as of from the beginning of spending through September. So, and then our long-range plan, which is going to include that Metropolitan Transportation Plan, which is our another biggest spending that we've done with Poe. So, any questions?
Questions?
You might just clarify that
Yes.
the MPO is really about planning dollars.
Yes.
All those numbers you showed, for the most part.
Majority of them are planning dollars. That's the 72% is planning dollars that we get from ODOT, which are from the federal highway.
Which is about $200,000 a year at this point, something
Yes.
like that.
It's about 100 a year.
About 100 a year, okay.
Yeah, and we get about 20 to 27 from the FTA.
Okay. And you might explain too, could you pull that map up again and explain that the MPO, quite frankly, mostly includes the city of Enid. However, it includes parts of the county and it includes North Enid.
Yes.
You might highlight that with your
It does include North
pointer.
Enid completely, and then there are little parts of the county, so it's everything in the green.
Yeah, and that purple up there is North Enid.
Yes.
And so this classification process would have included whatever their needs are too, to some degree, right? They're on the,
Yes.
they're in the
Yes.
MPO represented, yeah, okay. So Taylor is our MPO planner, and so her sole purpose in life, well, I wouldn't say it's her sole purpose, it's one of her main purposes in life, is to manage the MPO and work with the MPO, make sure we meet the requirements. So you've been in that role for, I don't know,
About a year now.
About a year. Before that, you were with us for several years, 4
Yes.
years or something like that in engineering. So it's a good fit, and it helps us, and it kind of leads into better planning, hopefully leads to better execution. The better execution is also helped by getting more funding, because without
Yes,
funding, we wouldn't be
absolutely.
doing
And
this.
that's one of the reasons why we decided to update the functional class of the streets, was because we get bigger buckets for bigger streets.
Yay for that.
And it's taken like 2 years to put this thing together, hasn't it?
Yes, I think
It's
we're
been a
on
long
year
journey.
3 right now. So we've just we were starting FY '24 and we're in FY '26 currently. So.
Yes, so. Okay, questions? Okay, thank you. Item 3.5, update from Poe and Associates on the Metropolitan Transportation Plan for the Chisholm Trail MPO. Craig, this is you?
Yes.
Craig Moody.
Say that 3 times real fast, Mayor.
Yeah, I know. You know, I'm from southwest Oklahoma. It's hard for me to start out with, so, yeah.
Well, thank you, Mayor, City Manager, Commission. Thank you very much. Attorney, Board, thank you. My name's Craig Moody. We're honored to be here today to talk to you about the Chisholm Trail Metropolitan Transportation Planning Organization 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan. We are excited to have the opportunity to kick this off. We have met with your technical committee and policy committee, and so let's get this going. I've got about 10 slides I'm going to go through. If you need to ask questions or heckle me during this, I kind of like that, so let's do that if we need to. And I'm going to need to get with the gentleman that spoke earlier about housing, because that'll certainly need to be a part of this plan. Yes, sir. So let's get started. Again, my name's Craig Moody. I'm with Poe and Associates. I am the project manager. With me today is Jeremy Plantine. He's our deputy project manager. Jeff Carroll is not online with us. Typically, he would be. He's with our sub-consultant firm, which is High Street. Together, we have expertise in transportation policy and strategies, socioeconomics and forecasting, data analytics, performance-based planning for transportation, engineering, and I've been in the transportation planning world for about 30 years, so this is kind of home for me. And we love Enid, so we're excited to get to do this for Enid. We have a deep bench, as you can see, so that if we need to pull from any of those sectors, we certainly can to help us with the development of this plan. I don't think it's necessary I read all those names to you and what they do, but you can see that we have a strong bench. The purpose of the 2050 Metropolitan Plan is to lay out a strategic vision for transportation through the year 2050. The plan will address mobility, safety, connectivity, and sustainability, all while ensuring that the plan aligns with the fiscal realities and local, state, and federal policies and procedures. It's our goal to develop the system that is not only multimodal but fiscally responsible, but also community-informed and data-driven. And as we said earlier, this plan's updated every 5 years. If there is a need to amend the plan during the process, we certainly can. So if something comes up, you have a large growth come in, like 750 homes being built, we can certainly amend the plan. Or if the base decides to expand, these are things that we can do. Did I jump too fast? No. The scope of work includes foundational tasks such as administration, public engagement, and web portal updates, which you'll hear about in just a minute. This will continue throughout the development of the plan. And as the plan's being developed, we'll begin with existing conditions, which we've already started doing and helping out with your functional class system and identifying your roads and your road needs. We'll go through a performance-based analysis, we'll generate revenue forecasting, and we'll identify fiscal constraints while providing project prioritization and policy recommendations. These elements will all work together to ensure that this plan is feasible and on time. Again, I would go through and read these to you normally, but in respect to time, I think y'all can see it. So let's talk project schedule. This schedule for this project, we've already kicked off. So we've already started doing some work in behind the scenes. The plan is scheduled to take about a year. We'll start with public engagement. Then we'll move to street light data, which we've collected or already bought the data. We're starting to analyze that and work with street light. Is that right, Mr. Plantine? So we'll look at congestion and trip analysis. That's how your traffic moves throughout the city, day and night. That'll move us into project prioritization. So once we've gone through, we've asked about project, we've looked at projects, we'll develop a long-range transportation project list, and then we'll look at what it takes to prioritize that. And of course, we won't do any of that without your blessing. And that'll move us into the draft plan engagement. So once we get to about, hopefully, June of next year, we will have a solid draft that we can present to you and prepare for adoption. And then by the fall of '26, we expect to have this plan adopted. So public engagement, we're excited that we got to meet with Enid's communications team. I do public engagement, and I've been doing it a long time. In fact, we've just gone through the gauntlet of holding about 18 meetings across southwest Oklahoma, sir, on another long-range transportation plan. Public engagement is extremely important. It's the foundation of us building this plan. We need to know what the public thinks and what their needs are. So we've met with Derek Solis. Solis, did I say that right? Silas? I apologize. Derek's awesome. We wanted to talk to the Enid communications team because they know best about what buttons to push and how to communicate with your community. Enid's awesome, but every community has a different way of communicating. He brought to light some opportunities, not just using the web page and Facebook and Twitter and all the norms that we'd use for social media, but CityLink is a way that we can tap into getting the public to pay attention. A lot of times it's hard to get people to talk about long-range transportation plans when you're driving over a pothole every day. And that's not what we're doing. We're looking at what our needs are going to be in the next 20 years. He also brought up some ideas, maybe using the water bill when we have notices going out, and attending public events so that when we need to do surveys or collect data, we'll have these opportunities. So we're really excited to have that extension and that expertise right here. That's going to help big time. And it's going to save a lot of money as we go through this process. Key stakeholders and partners. We've got the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, Federal Transit Authority, Federal Highway Administration, Vance Air Force Base. We did have Tyson Enterprises, the city of Enid, North Enid, your education from grade school up through college, NODA and NORPO. We certainly have those on the list, but Mayor and Gerald, I believe last time we met with you, you added to the list, and I'm going to read off some more names if it's okay with you, and please tell me if there's a name on there that maybe I need to take off or some that I might need to add. So to add to that list, we have Tachyon, Renew Energy, TP&L, Luckenbill, Woodring Airport, Mid-Continent Packaging. So far, nobody's heckled me. I'm doing good, right? Okay. Grondike, Transport, Marsal. Did I say it right? Yes. All right. Pump Star, Advanced Food, KCE Construction, Highland Partners, Atwoods Home and Ranch, which I didn't know this was the home base. I love Atwoods. And FedEx. Is there anybody else?
We had also mentioned it'd probably be good to involve the Enid Regional Development Alliance. Dr. Mack represents them here. They have direct contacts with a lot of those folks and can help vet that list.
Facilitate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They're on the list. Consider it done. Thank you for that. All right, that was easy. Web portal, the plan will include a digital component that's user-friendly. I have before you today Mr. Jeremy Plantoon, who's probably one of the GIS specialist analysts in the nation, and he's already started developing your web portal, and he's going to show you what he's got built so far to date. Jeremy, do you need this or are you good?
We're going to mouse it.
Okay.
I can find the mouse.
And he just clicked on the link that goes to the web page. It was hidden down in the bottom left-hand corner of that slide.
And this is publicly accessible, so any of y'all can log into it right now. It is a draft working website, so you expect to see some changes as we kind of move through this process. Ms. Massey has the URL for this, so you can get to it. And feel free to click around and explore all the parts of the website. If there's things that you want changed, adjusted, different verbiage added, please feel free to reach out about those things. We'll be happy to update those for you. So just to kind of walk through this a little bit, just kind of a general explanation and banner up at the top. As we schedule any of the public meetings and public engagement, whether they're virtual or in person, this map will populate that additional data, links for any of the virtual meetings, those kinds of things will be present as well. If we move down here a little bit below, this was a process that we started in Southwest Oklahoma, and in my nearly 20 years of doing this kind of GIS, this has been one of the best success stories I think I've ever seen as far as just general kind of participant engagement. So in Southwest Oklahoma, what they did is they set up a regional safety assessment. So these are safety concerns that general constituents and just lay people, general citizens can get in, as well as city personnel, county personnel can get in if you know that there's something like a stoplight needs to be put in because there's lots of accidents. If there's things like excessive animal crossings, if sight lines, sight distancing, it maybe is a little bit weird because of obstructions or things like that. You can drop those pins on a map. This little survey link right here is fully mobile capable. It's a very nice, very sleek survey form, and I can actually open that up quick. So this, again, will open up on your phone if you're on a device that has location settings turned on or location availability turned on. It'll automatically zoom you to the spot. Pick what type of roadway concern you have. You can add any additional comments, and then if you have any pictures that you want to take to include with that, you can drop those in as well. Once you've done that, this map below will populate with that dot or that pin immediately. So real time, you can see that engagement is happening. On the back side of it, Taylor will have access to a nice dashboard where she can export out those results and do kind of, sort of basic analytics if there's certain trends that are starting to emerge from that. So in Southwest Oklahoma, when we unveiled this, we went from basically no responses to, I think now we've got almost 800. And a bunch of those are coming from just, people out in the kind of the more rural areas. We had a ton from, some of the Duncan and some of the other cities that, the Oklahoma Challenge folks did a bunch with it as well. So that's just something to kind of keep an eye on. We also did something similar with project planning. And as we get later in the plan development, we'll add that map and that survey as well. I've got some general FAQs that are kind of boilerplate. We're going to hone these and kind of refine these as we get further into the plan with Taylor's and y'all's input on these, but these are there for right now. And then the kind of meat and potatoes of the data stuff. So we have 4 unique dashboards that we've set up. There may be some additional ones to follow as we identify those needs in the plan as the plan moves forward. But just to give you kind of an idea of what's out here, we can open this up. And these are fully interactive dashboards. And for all of these, what I did is I pulled the entire county in. Now, obviously, we're talking about city and then MPO boundaries, but the entire county is there because there is some overlap when you get to things like census tract boundaries and things like that. So these are all the SERB projects that ODOT has programmed. Any of the big construction work plan APP projects that the Department of Transportation has, those are in there. You've got some basic filtering, so if you want to look for specific project types, specific years, dollar amounts spent, those kinds of things, you can see those. There's a direct link to ODOT STIP website. And then this jumps you right back to the Chisholm Trail homepage as well. All of this data that you're going to see, with the exception of the census data and the safety data, is pulling real time from the data sources. So as ODOT updates things like the SERB project moving into next year, the year after, these maps will update in real time as well. So the data is never not current. It's never in kind of a delta between what you're seeing and what ODOT is seeing. It's all real time. As ODOT releases that publicly, it automatically picks it up and pulls that stuff in. The next one, and this is kind of germane to the functional class discussion we had a little bit earlier. This is just kind of general inventory data at first. So this is your road mileage by functional class. Again, you've got your filtering capabilities. You've got the ability to jump to Google Street View on any of those roads where Google Street View is available. We have the traffic data that is from ODOT based on their collection. This is the stuff that is submitted yearly to the feds. You can break this down by highways, and then if you're looking specifically for high truck routes, those are broken out as well. Pavement condition data. This is based on what is called the Total Federal Code, which is the standard federal reporting mechanism that takes into account things like IRI, cracking, rutting, faulting. Basically, it's kind of a constellation of all the factors that make up a pavement condition. And makes up that final code, and you can actually break those down. So if kind of on a planning level or infrastructure level, if you think that you've got some IRI issues, that'll tease those out so you're not just relying only on that Fed code. Bridge data, including condition data. Now the department's made a big push over the last 25 years to address on-system structurally deficient and functionally obsolete bridges. Obviously there's a lot of needs still on the county system and on the rural system. That is all displayed there as well. And then here's your railroad data.
Click on one of those dots so they can see how that brings up your metadata. So inside each one of those dots, you click on it, it brings up when, where, what.
Yep. And all of that is also in this window on the side as well. Safety and collision data is there as well. The one caveat, and we've discussed this with Taylor a little bit before, as well as in the tech and policy meetings, there is a little bit of a lag time with collision data as it comes in. I think maybe my internet just take up here on me here a little bit. And so a lot of this data is fully current through about 2022, 2023. As you get a little bit closer to the present, looks like my internet died on me there. The data will fall off a little bit. So just be aware of that. But all that collision data, fatalities, those kinds of things are in there. And then the last one I'll show you is the demographic insights data. This portal specifically, or this dashboard specifically, will have a lot of cross utility with things like city planning, things beyond just basic transportation planning. This is pulling from census data and American Community Survey data. So these are things like transportation disadvantage percentiles, if you have climate issues, environmental factors, if there's health vulnerabilities, social vulnerabilities, food deserts, any of those things that can kind of tease out, to kind of, like you were talking about earlier, Mayor, the housing crisis, things, where do we put apartment complexes, where do we put houses, are there, specific places we should target? And as you adjust these filters and interact with these charts, these numbers below here, these population numbers, will change in real time as well. And that's kind of the end of kind of the portal overview. Again, it's just a draft. It's in development, so expect to see some changes there. But again, it is fully open and public facing right now, so feel free to get in there, play with the data, play with the dashboards. And if there's anything we're missing or need to add, please let us know, and we're happy to do that.
Taylor, is that available from the website now as a link or something, or a button?
I just got it today.
Okay, but it will be. Okay. Sounds good.
That's amazing.
Is there training classes for the general public?
It's called OJT. But we need to talk to Autry about that probably. Jeremy, question on ODOT data. Is ODOT data going to be accessible to us through this portable too, or just our MPO stuff?
So we can set it so you can have the whole kind of statewide data. The data that you're seeing in there now, for the most part, is ODOT data, so all the traffic, pavement, roadway, kind of structural data. That is all directly ODOT data feeding real time from their system. So we can narrow or expand that filter however we'd like. So if you want the whole state.
Is that user adjustable, just like our GIS where we could turn layers on, turn layers off? It might be helpful, I don't know, it might be helpful to engineering, it might be helpful to a city manager that wants to click around, I don't know, the public. But we would not, it'd be better just to have our data as the standard default template or whatever you call it, but if we could turn layers on and off, that might be helpful.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, we can. It'd be as simple as setting, a little switch at the top of those dashboards to say go statewide, and everything would adjust accordingly. If you want to do that, certainly that's possible.
Yeah, because Craig, I know one of the things you're going to talk about too is you're doing the statewide plan at the same time. Maybe you already did mention that as you're doing our MPO plan. There should be some advantages to that for us and for you, and making sure our stuff kind of nests with their stuff. And
Yes, sir. Partnered with High Street. We did do the Oklahoma Department of Transportation's long-range transportation plan. I've been fortunate enough to participate in 4 of those plans now, and we're working with SORPO, the Southwest Oklahoma Regional Transportation Planning Organization. We are on the tail end of completing almost a year and a half long plan development for 16 counties in southwest Oklahoma for SORPO. So yes, sir, this just dovetails right in perfectly. And in fact, while you were asking Mr. Plantine, I was thinking maybe we should take some time, sit down with you and show you what we've developed for southwest Oklahoma's web portal. And there is probably 20 more buttons than what we've just were presented. Mr. Plantine has made that specific to southwest Oklahoma, but we can open it up statewide. And so, yes, we'd love to do that for you too. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
well, I'd love to participate, but it'd probably be really good for our engineering team.
I know Jason.
Raleigh, if you got plenty to do besides poke around on that, that's fine too. But you might. We have some access to information now. We use Esri, is that what? But this is interesting too, particularly if it's got ODOT's stuff in it.
Yeah. And Raleigh, we'll have all the data you need. We'll wear you out with data. Absolutely.
And this is all built on, to your point, this is all built on an Esri platform. This instance that I built it in is a standalone instance with the intent that we can hand that back off to the MPO or the city at the conclusion of this project, and from there, maintain it or use it kind of into the future as well. So it doesn't just terminate at the end of the plan cycle.
Yep. This will be yours forever.
And just to go back, Commissioner Patterson, yes, as we learn how to use this ourselves, you bet, we can have some tutorials. Communications, I'm sure, would love, they're very skilled at doing tutorials and things like that, and there may be other tools we can use. For me, I probably should take one of those too, but I'll probably learn a lot by hunting and pecking.
You talked about the responses you have down in southwest Oklahoma. You said you're up to about, 1,000 or so folks who've given you feedback? So is that coming through their website there primarily, where you're getting that feedback?
That's one of the surveys that Mr. Plantine built.
Okay.
So that one being a safety survey. We also built a map that asks for projects called Mark the Map. That campaign has been very successful.
Okay.
The safety map campaign, Commissioner, Oklahoma Challenge took the Mark the Map program to, where were they at, Jeremy? Were they Hobart? They were in one of the small communities, had 250 high school kids show up, and they said, Mark the Map. It's real easy, click, you can use your phone. We had about 75 kids get on, and they went to one specific spot. And when we talked to the district engineer with ODOT, the district engineer said, there's not a problem at that spot. And we said, well, clearly there is. You've got 75 students that's saying we have a problem at this intersection. Mm-hmm. And it was overgrown vegetation and poor signage. Okay. So it was a simple fix, we knocked down the vegetation and improved the signage.
But not even on ODOT's radar at that point.
Well, it's just, that's not really a project that would come up, but it's an opportunity to save lives. There had been a number of accidents at that location. And so this tool, like Mr. Plantine said, I think we're going to try to get a national award on this thing because it's gaining so much ground. We're excited, and we'd love to do it for you, too. We'd love to provide. So we have a number of surveys. We'll have verbal surveys, we'll have click surveys where we ask you questions and give you multiple choice answers. We have the Mark the Map survey, the safety survey, that we're really looking forward to work with Derek to get the word out and see what kind of feedback we get to incorporate in this plan. Yeah.
So Craig, I wanted to mention that 2 years ago when we started this project, I was basically told we're over 50,000.
Yes, sir.
Our funding's going to be different.
Yes, sir.
Your only choice is whether or not to be in another group or whether or not we're going to do our own group, which Enid's Enid, and we want to do our own group.
Yes.
I thought the whole thing was about funding. I mean, that's where my brain was at. As we've moved through this over the 2 years, it is remarkable what data this brings. And I'm always thinking about recruiting and new businesses. And, you know, if you sit out there and you have a trucking company that's considering relocating, they don't want to go somewhere where there is a lot of accidents happening all the time. They want to see what kind of highways you have, and they could be on the other side of the country. They don't want to just run out here.
Yes, sir.
But that data that we're going to have on here is going to be also for recruiting.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, I hope our citizens get on it and use it and look at it and put data in there. But we've got to think about all the folks that don't live here that's going to be looking at this thing.
Yes, sir.
And as we do projects, people thinking about coming to Enid, they're going, wow, there's another new road and another new road. I better get out there and check that place. So it turned out to be, honestly, not even hardly what I thought it was going to be, but it's going to be a lot more for our community. So I'm excited about it.
Thank you, sir. And we are getting started. We're just getting started. And as we develop this, we'll gear it any direction you need. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And I know that anybody that comes to town, the first thing they ask about is traffic counts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we can just right
And
here.
having that list of projects, our long-term list of projects, and
Yes.
prioritizing those projects, when you do go for grant funding, this will certainly help. And you'll have the data to back it up.
Also like to mark the map because I don't know that we really realize where a lot of our accidents happen. And if we see that over time, just like you were talking about.
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't know. I mean, I see accidents occasionally around town, but I don't think about it. If we have 75 in one location over X amount of time, that gives us and our engineering team an opportunity to stop and go, now wait a minute, what's going on here that we can make better?
Yes, sir.
So it's a wonderful tool, and I just think that I always say data's only good if you analyze it and look at it.
Yes, sir.
You know, so I'm excited about it. I think you're doing a wonderful job. I'm excited to see as it moves along also. So.
Thank you, sir, very much. I'll wrap up, if I can, with one last slide, and then I'll take all the questions that you can throw at me. Oh, I am on the slide, aren't I? Thank you. So as we finalize the project management plan, we want to, I need to get the project management plan to Ms. Massey as soon as possible. But we want to continue with our data collection process and continue building on our web portal. Now that we've got approval with the streetlight data, Streetlight's a program that they analyze your streets, they analyze the traffic, they analyze the congestion, the data. We'll start looking into that for trip analysis and our congestion mitigation. And then that'll prepare us to launch the first round of public engagement, where we'll start sending out our surveys and working with Derek to do an excellent job on getting that feedback. So that's where we're at. We are officially kicked off. We are honored and proud to have this opportunity to do this for the city of Enid, North Enid. You guys are awesome. I love you, and I can't wait to come back and stay the night and ride around town and learn about some of the hidden jewels here. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Anybody have any questions they want to ask?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
sir.
Okay, 3.6, update on the progress on the downtown development. Mr. Morse?
Yes, sir. Mayor and Commissioners, We have been working steady for the last several months, and I'm proud to say all of the property that we've needed to purchase has been acquired, and the Family Dollar store, that lease has been terminated, and they are out of there. So we're making some progress downtown. I wanted to take a look at this aerial view, and you can see just kind of the lot configurations that are there now, and talk about just a few things that are going on and that has taken some time. You're about to really see some progress, but I want to kind of explain the last few months. And we'll come back to this slide here in a second, but here's the current configuration of all of these lots. Of course, we're going to be consolidating these into just 2 major lots and then cleaning up the area above that just to make that all one. But here's the trivia question. I guess the answer's there. Don't look at the answer. Anyone know what an order nunc pro tunc? I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Am I saying that right? Nunc pro tunc. Okay, so anyway, we had some little minor corrections that needed to be made because some of these little property pieces were bought 10, 12, 15 years ago plus. And, you know, we haven't had a need to go back and look at our deeds and look at the titles and get, you know, people to make commitments on the title commitments. And so we just found a couple of little errors that we were able to get corrected. So that's what that is. It actually took quite a bit of time to figure out how to resolve some of these little issues. But we got that all done, and we got a title commitment completed in September the 22nd, just a few weeks ago. Right after that, we finished an ALTA survey, got that done and submitted. That was one of our conditions for the contract that we have. And we are going to be starting demolition soon. So here's just a few pictures. We had some real utility concerns. You can see just how close that OG&E's power lines are to the back of this building. They're literally a foot away from those garages. And this is a picture on the 14th. By the end of that day, on October 14th, all of those power lines were gone. They actually, I don't have a picture here, but they actually cut the top of their pole off right above the fiber. So they've eliminated all of those transformers and power lines. And we'll be starting demolition very soon. Beginning tomorrow and Thursday, you're going to see construction fences be placed around the property. And I'm proud to say that City of Enid team, we're going to self-perform this demolition so that we can get it done on our schedule and our time frame. And so we've got a very trained and professional crew that is going to be able to do this, a really good job for this. So that's going to be kicking off. You're going to see work starting beginning of next week. We'll have some machines out there making progress. Another part of this that's taken a little time is getting the vacation of the alley and Park Street completed. It's a very tedious process. We went ahead and hired Connor & Winters LLP to complete this process. They've made all of the notifications that they've needed to do for the upcoming hearing that's set on November the 7th. But right there on the left, it kind of shows you the process that we have to go through. We've got the hearing date. We've sent out all of the notices. Answers have been given. The hearing's on November the 7th. And then after that hearing, I've been in contact with some of the utilities that had some concerns about that. And we're expected to have a no-drama hearing on November the 7th. Hopefully we can get a decree and get that recorded just shortly after the hearing date. So that's the process there. Right now, currently, as it sits, there's 32 lots in the original plat in Block 57. So we're going to be changing this down to 2. The third lot that we're going to be creating is not in Block 57. But here's just a little bit of a time frame on how we get to where we're going. We've engaged someone to create our preliminary and final plats. Had a meeting with them this morning, and we think a good deadline that's a little bit aggressive, but is doable would be to have those applications turned in just right after Thanksgiving and hopefully get the MAPC meeting on December 15th, bring it here just right the next day for final plat approval, and go file it at the courthouse and have the plats ready to go. That's one of our conditions. And I wanted to, on this slide, let everyone know, this is a concept that you're looking at right now. This is not anything final by any means, but I just wanted to bring this up to show, what these two lots could look like. The top lot is the amphitheater project that we're working on. This was really just a concept to work out some of the topography for the floodplain along Park Avenue. But Jiffy Trip has hired Alabac Design landscaping architects to do that amphitheater project. We haven't had any meetings with them, but there will be collaboration with the city of Enid. We will get to help design this amphitheater, and so that will be kicked off shortly as well. These are some of the conditions for closing that we have a say-so in. These are kind of the things that we're working on. We've got 3.1 completed, 3.2 completed. We're working on demolition. I'm giving our team kind of I think that's a pretty doable date by November 21st, before Thanksgiving, before the Christmas tree, before all of those things, have the demolition complete. On the previous slide showing the vacation and replat completed by December 17th, and according to our contractor doing the surveys, the second Alta survey and title commitment really should not take that much time. They've already done all of the hard work to do that. So the goal is by the end of this calendar year, having all of the things that we have control over on this to be completed. So that's the end of this presentation.
That's exciting. I'm glad to see that. I knew that it would take a lot of time to vacate the alley. If you've ever driven down behind that, tons of utilities. I was amazed how they put those right up next to that. Also want to point out that Jiffy Trip really wasn't wanting to start construction until after the first of the year, so we could get past the tree and everything. So actually, our timeline is working very well with theirs.
Right.
So, yeah.
So with the company that Jiffy Trip contracted with, now Don Rose is still very involved in the project, isn't he?
Very involved. I speak with Don quite a bit and the surveyor to make sure that they're satisfied with the survey results that we're getting, that it checks all the boxes for them. And this Alabac Design, they need to see these surveys so that they can help design this park that we're going to be having. So it's going to be wonderful. We're working hard to make all of this happen. We want another consideration for the demolition. I really wanted to. It was important to me this might be the only time that from Garriott looking down towards Convention Hall that we can have an unobstructed view of the Christmas tree and everything for this fall. So that's why we're pushing hard to get this thing completed.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Other thoughts, questions, comments? You guys are quiet tonight. All right. Well, Scott, thank you. Thanks for what you're doing on this. I know there's a lot of work behind the scenes.
Very cool.
Yes, sir.
A lot of work. So what I'm going to do on this, Brooke, if it's okay, I'm going to push your update to over onto the regular meeting here shortly, so don't run off. Okay? With that being said, we're going to adjourn, and we will be back at 6:30. Yay.